Okay, everyone, we will call this meeting to order. Can I please have a roll call?
Mrs. Ling,
Present.
Mr. Dice,
Present.
Mr. Lemak, Mr. Olszewski,
Present.
Mr. Diakopoulos, Mr. Stepanovich,
Here.
Mr. McKenna,
Here.
Mayor Simon.
And let's note for the minutes, Mr. Lemak is here. Thank you. Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Nestico, any unlisted amendments this evening?
No, there are none for this evening.
Okay, awesome. That brings us to our consent calendar items, just the February 18th minutes. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve February 18th, 2025 minutes.
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Jamie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Michael, do we have comments for the mayor?
Sure. The AARP Tax Prep Services will have appointments are required in advance. The phone number to call is 374-8176. If there is no answer, leave a message. No walk-up service will be accepted. The remaining dates are March 14, March 28, April 11. This is taking place at the Community Center on Carson Avenue. The next item is the glass recycling pop-up event. This is on Saturday, March 15th at the Veterans Field parking lot on Sardis Road. It takes place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents are also encouraged to support the Loaves and Fishes Emergency Food Pantry by donating non-perishable food items. The food pantry volunteers will be at the pavilion accepting drive-through donations during those same hours. Rock Talks presents. Eric Sellinger hosts another fabulous session of Rock Talks in celebration of St. Paddy's Day. Let's rock out Irish style from early folk influences to the Celtic punk rock, plus classic hard rock from Gary Moore and Thin Lizzy. Come and listen. It will be a great event. Murraysville Community Library, Tuesday, March 11th at 6:30 p.m., and this is a free event for anyone that wishes to attend. The next item is the studio mini dance for ages 2 to 5 years old. There are 2 sessions. They take place at the Murraysville Community Center. There is a fee of $108. The younger age groups, ages 2 and 3, are on Tuesdays from 9:30 to 10:15 a.m. And the older age group, ages 4 and 5, are on Tuesdays from 10:15 to 11 a.m. That takes place from March 11th to April 15th. Murraysville Cleanup Week will be the week of April 7 through April 12. At Pleasant Valley Landfill, Murraysville residents will be able to take items to the Valley Landfill on Pleasant Valley Road from, April 1 through April 11 during the hours of 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Saturday, April 12th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Permit passes are available at the reception desk here at the municipal building for anyone that would like to participate. The next item is the Joey Gumbosh Fishing Derby at Townsend Park on Saturday, April 5th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for children up to age 15. And then lastly, the curbside leaf collection program. You can schedule a pickup for one of the dates listed below. The spring date is April 26th, a Saturday. The fall dates are accurate. Those are the upcoming fall events. Of course, we'll have another reminder prior to that time. But there is a 20-bag limit for each collection date. The deadline to sign up is the Thursday before pickup. Again, the spring event takes place on Saturday, April 26th. That is all for the mayor's report.
Okay, awesome. Any comments on behalf of yourself?
Sure. I could provide a few updates to the community. I guess first, we'll start with the deer management program that's run through the Recreation Department. There were 74 hunters enrolled in the program this year. They harvested 42 deer. The hunters pay a fee of $35 but get a credit issued if they do harvest a doe. For this year were $2,200. There were, as I said, 42 total deer harvested for the season, 28 doe and 14 buck. So there were 751 days of hunting that occurred during this season. So that's the deer management program that's run through the Recreation Department. An update to the community. The property taxes will be delayed. They will, folks will be receiving them by the 15th of this month. Typically, they come out at the very beginning of the month. However, there was a little bit of a miscommunication between the county and Keystone regarding a few of the properties on our tax rolls as it related to the hydrant tax. And so they had to rectify that issue, and it caused a delay for all the taxes. So being that taxes are going to be delayed for the up to 15 days, they are going to extend the payment deadline another 15 days as well. So it will be the same amount of time to get the taxes, to receive them and have them paid. So there should be no worries on behalf of the community. The deadline is extended to coincide with the delay in receiving them. So that is for the property taxes that get mailed out. That's city and or municipal and county taxes here in the spring. Two other items of note as it relates to some property issues in the community. The first is the Holiday Hills Mobile Home Park. There have been some issues there with the folks receiving water to their units. It's something that we've gotten some calls about from the local media, so I figured it would be prudent to make a mention to the community. The issue overlaps with the water coming from Plum Municipal Authority and the water line running through Allegheny County. So Allegheny County Health Department, who operates the plumbing inspections for the county, is overseeing that project. There's a contractor that's running a new water line. The property owner has been in contact with our code office. They are trying to work through the issues there and satisfy the residents who do need water. A gas line was hit along with that project. So the property owner has been proactive in trying to remediate things and take care of the residents there, offering them other accommodations. So that may be something that comes up in the news here, but we have been watching over it. We did send out notices of violation from our code office just to ensure that the property owner is staying on top of things. So that seems to be the case. We believe that the new water line will be installed and operational by sometime next week. I think by Wednesday of next week, they will have water restored to that location. And then one last item, as the community is probably very much aware, especially through the social media circles with Caliber Collision, there was an issue at that development last week where the contracting crews were working late into the evening. I know that myself and I'm sure several council members, the mayor, and other staff have received a bunch of calls about that. Unfortunately, we hate to make excuses because I know it's such a controversial sort of project. There were a lot of folks from the community here frustrated about that project even taking place. So the last thing we want to do is have further issues with any of the development occurring there. Unfortunately, the contractor, or I guess one of the subcontractors, was doing the concrete work there last Wednesday. They were having difficulties getting things finalized in a single pour, which is what was necessary for that particular site. Our building inspection office did allow them to work late into the evening. We did give that authorization, not expecting it to last that long into the evening. It coincided with a storm coming in 5 hours earlier than anticipated and caused quite a bit of commotion there at the site. They were trying to put up tarps and prevent the water damage and get the concrete poured. Ultimately, it led to having to shut that work down in late hours of the night and hearing quite a bit of feedback from the community. And then the contractor had to go back out the next morning and grind all the concrete, some parts of the concrete out and re-pour it. So it was a one-off situation that certainly we don't want to have occur. And due to that, we reached an agreement with the developer that there can be no further work outside of what was in the developer's agreement as it related to the business hours of the facility. And if you recall, when that project was approved, we set in place working hours caliber collision from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays, and then a smaller time window on the weekends. So we implemented the 7:30 to 7 policy during the construction phase as well. So that was not something that they were bound to, but they did agree to that, and they did indicate that they don't expect any further complications in working into the late hours. So again, I know it was a frustrating moment for not only the residents there, but certainly having to try to address that situation. But that is a little bit of the background of what happened there. Again, we want to be direct and upfront with the community about the issue, and we recognize that it was a frustration, and hopefully it's resolved now, and we can move past that. But we understand that it created quite a bit of disruption at that time, and so we tried to address it as best we could. So certainly happy to answer any questions about the items on the manager's comments. That's all for this meeting.
Awesome. Council, any comments, concerns? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to community input. If anyone would like to speak, this is your chance.
I think I'm the only one on the list.
And there we go. Just state your name and address, sir, please. Thank you.
My name is Robert Alexander, 4691 Christie Road.
All right, thank you.
I'm a 37-year resident of Murraysville, and I just recently became the president of the Miracle League of Western Pennsylvania, and I'm here on behalf of the Miracle League. And my question to council is, to what extent exactly is the Miracle League part of Murraysville Community Park? Nobody's been able to tell me this. Are we under the municipality umbrella, as all the other parks are? Or are we a complete separate entity that we do our own thing without input from council or the community?
We'd have to look into that legally. Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
from what I understand, the one thing is that the only true entrance to there is through our municipal park. So, I know that's been a question of whether they could do evening hours or do anything like that. And because there's no lighting and crosswalks and things like that, that would have to all be done first before. I know that was a couple of years ago.
Well,
That's the only-
as of tomorrow, we will have a new field being put in. So tomorrow they're delivering all the field material to the community park, or to the Miracle Field. We didn't ask the municipality for any money for that. I mean, other parks get, pavilions and different things. We raised all that money. It was over $300,000. My question is, who do I see when I want to do something? It's only my second year as president, so I don't know past president how he did things. I don't know if there was agreements made in the beginning as to we'll be a separate entity, we'll do our own thing, but if we want to do something, like put advertising on the back of our scoreboard, I need all of you guys' approval for something like
It
that.
would seem to me this is something, Michael, you and Carly could maybe talk about, and you too, Adam, legally. I mean, somebody owns it, somebody's paying insurance for it, somebody's doing all that, so,
We pay insurance for the Miracle Field itself.
yeah. See, there we go.
That's correct. And I guess part of my understanding, and I've obviously had a lot of email communication with Bob. He's kept me in the loop as far as the project and their attempts to get funding. And in fact, I, as the chief administrator, am on the board of the Miracle League, which seems somewhat unusual. And I'm not sure, again, how that was, how that was formed. What I do know is that my understanding, having not been here when the Miracle League was formed and the field was installed, my understanding is that the Miracle League is almost in some ways kind of, for lack of a better term, maybe a tenant of the park system. And so I think the agreement at the time, whenever the league and the field went into place, was that donations were coming in, or I guess they wanted to construct the field and create the league in our community. And so I think that the understanding was we can provide the space, provided you get the funding and put everything together. And in fact, obviously, they did that some time ago. And now, we're at the point where they're replacing the field, which means it's, lasted quite a while, and it's sounds like a very positive and a positive thing in our community and in our park. But my understanding was that through that agreement, they were going to be provided a place in the park to have their facility and have their programming, if you will. But as far as what can be done in the park, I believe that they would have to come to the municipality and seek approval, no different than you would for the soccer group or the baseball group when it comes to, I think, maintaining portions of their facility and things like that. So it is a little bit unclear to me. I think that's part of the reason why Bob's asking the question as well. Something we can certainly look into to see if there are any written agreements that kind of spell that out. And we can always try to pin down that answer. But to my knowledge, it was kind of an agreement where Murraysville would provide the space for the Miracle League, but they would kind of fall under the umbrella of our parks and the way we manage them, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think looking for written agreements and potentially, if we can't find any, maybe executing one might be the way to go, just to formalize this, just so legally we know what's going on. As opposed to, God forbid, there is a lawsuit or something and, people are going like this, so.
A question, how old is the field?
12 years old.
Well, okay.
It's an 8-year field. We repaired it last year to get us through the season. It's a safety hazard now as it starts falling apart. Looks nice from afar, but when you get on it, it's not. So we're having it replaced.
I'm in Rotary, and I know that some of our members, like the Dorsches, Nick Dorsch, he's very involved with the fundraising for the Miracle Field.
Yes.
So as far as I know, it was just the land donation, and then everything was kind of, the money was separate.
Is there annual fees or dues or anything associated to it?
No.
Not that I know of. I don't think we've ever paid for any. I noticed that the Murraysville Community Center, is that across the street from the community park?
Oh, we call that the clubhouse.
Clubhouse?
Yeah, that location.
Clubhouse has Wi-Fi. Now, we had Wi-Fi come up to our concession stand, and they reneged on a deal with us that we were going to be able to turn that off. Is there any way to piggyback your Wi-Fi up to the Miracle League?
I would say that there are probably a couple options there. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, please.
Council.
As I want to say, you cannot get a signal down there. You can't make a phone call. You can't make a text. Calling 911 could be difficult.
We've had extensive talks in that regard, but, maybe that is something as a Band-Aid, if we can somehow expand Wi-Fi coverage, somebody's going to have Wi-Fi calling enabled, so it'll help.
Yeah, I would say that's something that we can look at, and whether or not it can be extended that far up, I don't know. Maybe a booster has to be put in. We've also talked about, and again, a future project down the road, but potentially having Wi-Fi located throughout the park. And then finally, and I wouldn't want to put them on the spot, but I do know that the baseball organization does have Wi-Fi in their concession area that I believe they pay for separately, and that may be an option. And speaking with them,
we
to
do
kind of
have
partner with them.
Wi-Fi that we were paying for separately. They promised us that we could turn it off during the winter months and when we're not using it, and that isn't the case. So now it's become a little bit too expensive for us to continue year-round. So
Well,
what I was thinking is, since you already have Wi-Fi right across the street, we're already wired in, is there any way for us to hop onto the municipalities'
Who's the service provider on that?
Windstream? They brought it across the street to the building down below there, and we had conduit running from that pole up to our concession stand. And we had it at the end of last year. And they promised us we could turn it off, and then all of a sudden, we can't turn it off. And it's
Your
hard to
provider
pay
was
for it.
Windstream too?
Yes. I noticed that in this Murraysville Matters magazine that there's Wi-Fi there, and they're right across the street. So I didn't know if there was a way to connect the two, since we're already wired up to the concession stand.
Okay.
But there's other projects. Being 12 years old, we've got a bunch of projects. We're going to need a new scoreboard soon. The parking space up at the top needs paved. Don't know if that's something that you guys plan on doing. Is it anything?
I think we can't answer all this tonight. I think.
I know, I
yeah.
just was,
But I think the meeting.
I always wanted to come here and meet you guys anyhow.
No, thank you. And I really think even with us, and, you know, I can be there if need be, or Mac, I know you're the Parks and Rec liaison, maybe you. Just a meeting with you, Carly Green, Michael, or maybe just Carly and Mr. Alexander, just to get us all on the same page, because you're asking good questions, you know, and these are things that I think we just need to know. But I think really, instead of trying to hash it out here, it would be, let's just get a meeting together and talk about this and see what's been done in the past and what we want to do in the future.
We had a meeting with, who was in charge of that prior to you?
Harold Hicks.
Yeah, Harold Hicks had come to a Parks and Rec meeting and talked about just things, what the future looks like for them, and kind of updated the Parks and Rec on that. So, yeah, I think that's a good, I think what you're saying is a great idea.
I just-
Get everyone on the same page, and, because they're great questions.
Yeah, no, I just think that would be the way to proceed, and, you know, get a hold of me if you have any other questions or anything. Let's make this meeting happen ASAP, you know?
I thought it would be interesting, you might want to know, we plan on having a one-of-a-kind Miracle Field up there. I don't believe there's anyone like it. We've designed the Miracle Field to look like PNC Park.
That's amazing.
So here is PNC Park. Picture, you can see the striped field in that. Well, our design is very similar. We're going to have the striped field, the warning track all the way around. It should look.
If you set that on
Excellent.
that table right there, just face up, they'll be able to show it on the screen. That's really cool, sir. Yeah.
Yes, I believe this will be a one-of-a-kind field. I think it'll be a jewel to the community. I think we're going to be very proud of it.
Have her zoom in on that.
Oh, there she goes. She got it. Yep, there we go.
And thank you for your service and leadership on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for what you do. I know how important that field is to the kids that play on it.
Oh, they love it.
Really.
Just thinking, Bob, with looking like PNC Field, maybe a courtesy call you'd make to the Nutting family to see if they might help you, saying, look, we've got a here.
We've
locally.
contacted the Pirates. They did financially pitch in.
Oh, awesome.
They came through.
Good.
Yes. We're hopeful. Our opening day is April 26th, same as the FRAA. I'm going to call their president and make sure that we're not clashing too much. But you're all welcome to come and see the new field. I think it's going to be great.
Did you say both opening days are the same?
Yeah, Saturday, April 26th.
That's not a bad
It's going to
thing.
be a busy day at the park.
Yeah.
That upper field parking lot gets used. So that's one of the things I'd really like to talk about is if there's any plans of cutting through there for the amphitheater, if that's still a thing.
Most likely not, but yeah. But I mean, again, just making sure that we're on the same page with all of these groups, you know, whether it's FRAA or whoever, you know, and the Miracle Field, like Max said, I mean, I think it's amazing. I still remember the first time I saw it, so yeah, let's just get together and make sure we're all on the same page.
All right.
And, take it.
Appreciate your time. I'm not even going to ask for lights.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other citizens' comments this evening? Okay, seeing none, I guess we'll go to liaison comments and committee reports. Let's start with Jason.
I had a conflict at the last library meeting, so I will attend the next one on March 20th.
Awesome, thank you. Carl?
February 20th was the meeting of Medic One. They approved the purchase of 2 chassis, and the vendor for the chassis is located in Arkansas. The award was $199,780. Interestingly enough, there was a Greensburg entity on the bidding on it, which bid $292. And so they're obviously going with this group out of Arkansas. Essentially what they do is they're taking 2 of their vehicles, Medic One, driving them down to Arkansas, basically switching, meaning they give their vehicles to the organization in Arkansas for the new chassis, and then they retrofit the existing superstructure, which is more expensive than the chassis, on the new chassis. So that's what's happening there. The 14,000 subscriptions had been mailed, and I might mention that there's an additional 10,000 subscriptions will be mailed here soon to the communities of Bell, Avonmore, Salzburg, and Loyal-Hanna. And the rationale for that is that the emergency services groups in each of those communities have, over the last 18 months, gone out of business. And I might mention this, is that with the fact that Murraysville does contribute to Medic One, Medic One is in discussion with all of those communities to see if they can, in turn, offer a stipend to Medic One. As far as the statistics, in Murraysville, there were 1,148 ambulance trips, 84 wheelchair. So that's it on Medic One. As far as the foundation, the Parks and Recreation Foundation, they met on Monday, February 24th. Some results from that there was a fundraising guidelines completed and sent to the Chief Administrator for review and comment. The estimated prices for the disc golf were prepared, and that'll be compared with the vendor that's going to be submitting a bid on that. And a gentleman added to the program, the board, as a member is Colin Kernick, and he has extensive background in marketing. And just to mention that the community itself, Murraysville, through the capital improvement plan, in 2025 will be planning to spend $210,000 at Chambers Park, continuing upgrades to the Duff Park program. In 2026, $105,000 to Townsend Park. And in 2027, $75,000 to Veterans Park for a new playground. So the community is playing its part in conjunction with the foundation. We're keeping a real strong recreation environment in Murraysville. That's it.
All right, awesome, thank you.
Matt?
Parks and Recreation meets next Tuesday, the 11th.
Awesome. Jamie?
Planning Commission meets that same night.
Matt?
You're here. EAC met on February 25th. Topic was the Summerhill Phase 2 development with 3 notes and comments. The landscape plans need to be more specific with species and what species will be planted and where. An inspection on the current existing private storm sewers along the property should be done to ensure that they're in working condition with no defects. And the third item is the reforestation plan was required with the previous conditional use application and approval, and should be shown on the landscape plan.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, I see nothing under workshop items, so that brings us straight to our action items. Could I have a motion for 13A, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1098-25, increasing the Parks and Recreation Commission to 9 members.
Second.
Thank you, Jason and Jamie. Pretty self-explanatory. I know we received a request from the Parks and Rec Commission to do this. A lot of people want to be involved, so, hey, more the merrier. Michael, any thoughts?
No, nothing further. It's pretty self-explanatory, and there are quite a few volunteers that want to participate. So hopefully by being placed on the commission, continues to allow us to have the good amount of volunteers and move things forward for that group.
Any questions or concerns from council?
No, this is going to be very helpful for Parks and Recreation. I know it's been discussed for a while, and we can use it. Just the volunteer help, the people that are coming to the meetings that are not members, because of that. So
No, absolutely.
It should really help out a lot.
No, thanks for making it happen. I remember when I heard about it, I just said, talk to Mac, so that's where we're at. Any questions or concerns before we vote? Nope. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. Thank you. That brings us to 13B. Can I have a motion, please?
A motion to authorize approval of the 2024 Volunteer Service Credit Program notarized eligibility list for Sardis Volunteer Fire Company.
Second.
Thanks, Carl and Matt. Again, this is just the volunteer list for the service credit we're able to give. Michael, anything to add?
Just that this is for Sardis, who historically has not submitted a list, but they did have 4 members that are eligible, so they got that list to us. So we'll add them into the service credit program, and they should be eligible for the tax credit, so.
Okay, awesome.
Mike, do they have to do that every year, or how's that work?
Yes, they would
Each
submit every
department.
year. They have to meet certain criteria with regard to their contribution to the company, whether it's through volunteer hours or training, things like that. So each year, they submit a list of the individuals who are qualified based on our ordinance to receive the credit.
Okay. Again, thanks to Sardis for everything they do. Any final questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 13B is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to 15A under engineering. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to advertise ordinance number 1099-25 West Penn easement.
Second.
Thank you, Matt and Mac. Michael?
Yes, this is an easement agreement with West Penn Power for the installation of a utility pole and the utility service line on a portion of the property at the Duff Park entrance. The idea behind this is they need to do the pole at this particular location and put a drop in so that we can get power to the Duff Park restroom facility. So this is just a pretty straightforward easement agreement in order for West Penn to be able to locate their pole on our property.
Okay, simple enough. Any questions or concerns from council?
A question just for edification here. What is the difference between a right-of-way and an easement?
There isn't one.
Very, very minimal. Basically nothing.
But in layman's terms, what right-of-way, I can see this, you have the right-of-way, and
Right-of-way tends to be more like in and out. Easement tends to be installation of an electrical line, a water line.
okay.
So maybe this is more technically, this would be technically an easement, but they're used so interchangeably
together.
that everybody kind of understand. But
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, they're the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, that's a really good explanation. They should be used differently, but they're really
Yeah,
not.
right-of-ways in and out, like, driveway or traffic. Easement is the installation of a utility or some other permanent fixture.
Gotcha.
Mike, is there lighting outside that restroom, like parking lot area at all, or no? There's-
I'm not 100% sure.
Bill says yes.
Okay.
Bill's waving his
I
hand.
know that we needed the pole to be relocated in order to get power over there.
That looks great up there.
Absolutely. Okay, questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 15A is unanimous. Thank you. That brings us to 15B. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to advertise ordinance number 1100-25 FT MSA easement at tax map number 49-10-13-0-035.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Matt. Again, another easement. Michael, would you like to just briefly go over it?
Yeah, just briefly, this item in conjunction with the next item on your agenda are for 2 easements for the same project. This is for the Haymaker Run Interceptor Rehabilitation Project that's being completed by FTMSA. We've had residents come in the past discussing issues that they're having along that area with sewage and the backup. So this is the project that's going to help to rectify that. And so there are 2 areas where they are installing this lateral sewer line that intersect with municipal property, Murraysville property. So each of these 2 easements are for FTMSA.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 15B is unanimous. That brings us to 15C. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to advertise ordinance number 1101-25, FTMSA easement at tax map number 49-10-13-0-140.
Second
Okay.
motion.
Thank you, Mac and Jason. Again, same as the last one, essentially, easement to FTMSA for the Interceptor project. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That brings us to 15D. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to consider authorization to advertise DPW-1-25, 2025 overlay project.
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Jamie. Michael or Bill, I don't know if you want to come up. Oh, Michael, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, this is the overlay project for 2025. It includes portions of 25 roads in the municipality and 3 in export as well. So this project is listed in the CIP with a budget of $1.5 million. So this is the advertisement to obtain bids for this project.
Okay, questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 15D is unanimous. That brings us to 15E. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to advertise DPW-2-25, alternative road surface treatment project.
Second.
Thank you, Mac and Jamie. Michael?
Yes, this is the alternative road treatment program. This is, for lack of a better term, certainly not an engineer, but the tar and chip sort of approach, but this is with the special fiber mat seal and fog coating, so it's I guess a higher quality sort of road surface treatment. It will be for a portion of Sardis Road, 12,800 feet in length from Salzburg Road to Maymont. So the CIP budgeted an amount of $205,000 for this project.
Awesome. Any questions or concerns about the road surface treatment project? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 15E is unanimous. That brings us to 16A. Can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to award a 1-year contract with 3-year pricing renewed annually to JPS Landscaping for mowing and trimming at various municipal properties.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Jason and Carl. Bill?
Yes, we got a couple bids on this. These are just the outskirts properties that we take care of. The Public Works doesn't take care of just green space areas that over the years we've kind of farmed out. The prices seem to be in line. They're probably $100 difference between both contractors. Both of those contractors we've used in the past. JPS, he's done our properties here, the last contract, and he's also done the green space contracts over the years. So I don't have any problems with his work at all.
Okay. Council, any questions or concerns about the Green Spaces contract award? Nope. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 16A is unanimous. Can I have a motion for 16B, please?
Motion to award the contract for DPW 4-25 landscape contract to JPS Landscaping.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Matt. Bill, anything to add for this one? Yes.
Not really. This is our Route 22 streetscape being from Town Square, that area, the trees that we have them take care of, the jug handles that Public Works is not taking care of, and of course the community or the building here. It seems like he spends an extra bit of time with that. I don't know if you folks have noticed, but he was here in December cleaning up leaves, so I don't have any problems with him with this contract either.
Wonderful. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 16B is unanimous. Do we have any, thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any old or new business this evening from anyone?
Yes, I'd like to just bring up for discussion to see if we can, and that has to do with the non-Murraysville residents at Sardis Fire Company. I know we're giving benefits, the tax credit to the Murraysville residents, and we discussed just briefly the non-residents, but who are very active and would like to keep them, give them something. So how do we not just talk about it and do nothing? How do we proceed with this? And also, if it's the legality of it, you know, and that they're not residents. Is this a subcommittee we should form, or what?
I think it's something that we have to look into for all the fire departments, because I think to the extent, and the mayor has talked about this extensively, and it's something we're always looking into, because Murraysville, like everywhere else, I think a lot of their departments are just teetering on not having enough volunteers.
Agreed.
That's what we're up against. So I don't know if we want to form a subcommittee, but I think maybe if we actually really talk to the mayor and say, what's the plan here, and take it from there, because we have looked into a lot of different options. I mean, a lot.
Would we want to make it a workshop item, or what?
At this point, I don't think so, because there's several legalities to what we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah. But no,
We will do that then.
I'm happy to weigh in as well if you'd like.
sure, absolutely, Mike.
The mayor did talk to me about this. Again, it is something that he wanted to examine. There are several nuances to it. One of the issues, as they mentioned, legal matter, is that it would be difficult for us to provide tax relief to someone who resides in another community. There would have to be some sort of reciprocity or some sort of an agreement, which does exist. We've seen that in other locations where, for instance, if someone lives in Washington Township, but they are a member at Sardis, certainly we don't have the authority to provide a tax credit to them residing in another community and paying taxes in that community. However, if there is an agreement in place between our municipality and other locations, then that might be possible. Secondary to that, the mayor had mentioned maybe trying to provide some sort of small benefit, a simple payout of some sort, something in that realm, a stipend, if you will. The problem that we run into there is that this particular program is a tax credit based on earnings. So you get a credit, again, depending on when you file your taxes, how much you owe, and how much you earn, things like that. So the volunteers that do receive the service credit receive a varying amount of credit, anywhere from $50 up to $1,000 or more. Most of the people are in the range of a couple $100s, few $100s in credit. But if we were to try to create a flat stipend, if you will, for lack of a better way to phrase it, then the issue becomes, well, how much is that stipend? Because it can't be the same for all, and we certainly don't want to create a flat, static number, whereby then the volunteers who are part of the service credit program get less of a credit than someone who lives outside of the community, because they get a flat, say, $200 versus their credit of $50. So there are some nuances to that as well. So it is something we are looking into. I don't know that there's going to be a quick and easy answer, and it may also require some level of an agreement with neighboring municipalities that would agree to consider some sort of reciprocity. So I would agree with Dane. I don't know that you need some sort of a subcommittee. The mayor was looking into things. He asked me to look into some things. I have. But it's going to take a little bit of digging to try to see what form would work best for us, and then at that point, what council may be willing to consider. So there is a little bit more to look into. I don't think it's a quick and easy answer, because it requires some level of intergovernmental cooperation, and so it may be a little bit more of a project.
Yeah. So maybe the next step would be, where do you start? It's maybe we try to figure out what neighboring municipality has the most volunteers in Murraysville at all of our departments. Maybe we just have a lot of guys that live in Penn Township. So if we can come to an agreement with Penn Township first, we can help maybe the most people, or wherever they live. But that would probably be the way to at least start to address it. and take it from there. And obviously Carl will have to involve the mayor because, you know, he was a firefighter
Okay. Yeah.
for forever. But no, I think that's a great idea. Let's do it. Okay. Any other,
Yeah, I just wanted to extend condolences from council for our police department with the loss of Magnus, the K-9 officer. I know it was a big hit for them. Sergeant Ketchern dedicates a lot of time to that program, and I know just losing a family pet's hard, but an officer like that's even harder. So it was a pretty cool tribute they did up 22, but deepest condolences to our police department on that.
I don't mean to laugh on that because I initially looked at it and they said they forgot to put his last name in. I caught on. Took a little while.
any final questions or concerns from anyone before we adjourn? Okay, motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned, everybody. Thank you.